Om Ganganapate Nama, Sri Gurubhyo Nama, hariom. The topic actually intended to be reveled upon has been bhakti, devotion, and devotion vis-a-vis the text scriptures and what is actually prevalent on the field, because this is very pertinent, because the questions um, often actually arise have been that one person is devotee, but then how is all that thing? These are the things we will ponder over this one, because it is said that for a devotee, devotion occur two things. One is chitta naichalyam, and that is focus, concentration. Then other is this inner cleansing. So inner cleansing is that only facilitate the divinity to be reflect. If inner cleansing doesn't happen, that light intercepted by a black film or colored film, it would deny the its reflection. So if we equate the mind to the reflecting medium, if then if it is not clean, it would block the thing. So that kind of a event happened. Then how is that this inner cleansing? One has to, if one notices reviews, know what is happening. It is everybody's judgment. Now Lord has actually in front of Arjuna. Then he asked that Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So what is that thing? He has confessed his issue. Everybody's issue becomes yoga if it is confessed before the competent authority who can alleviate. There is no point. It is one sick person, ailing person. If he is taking refuge of a co-patient, it doesn't. So he has to take refuge of the doctor. And then doctor would definitely prescribe two things, prescription, medicine and do's and don'ts. Those do's and don'ts, it is like a paracetamol and somebody infected, paracetamol and antibiotics. Now antibiotics would remove the bacteria or virus, whichever has denied the health and the sickness and the ailment has surfaced. Now this is the doctor for the mundane physical, but for Bhavaroga, Vaidyo Bhishaka, it is that Rudra everywhere, God's thinking. He is the curator, he gives the treatment for Bhavaroga. What is that Bhavaroga? Bhavas. Bhavas means our emotions, all those things. And there also certain do's and don'ts are there. Let us now examine, because this Arjuna, when he surrendered to Krishna, he has expounded those Bhagavad Gita shlokas where it is an instruction manual, like any instruction manual for a TV or mobile, whatnot, appliance we buy, machine, washing machine, TV. There are instructions which have to be adhered to. These instructions, if they are complied, then it is optimal functioning for a car, whatnot, all a thing. And in case if these instructions are floated, then there is then the instrument doesn't work. There are problems. That kind of a thing is there. And then the God, now by worshipping them, you see, now by Krishna has one has to respect God, but Krishna has expounded these things. Now this extend to the laws governing an employee. There are conduct rules, and one has to. There are traffic rules. There is a aircraft. There are aviation rules. So for every equipment there are rules. When those rules are adhered, then it will bear fruit. Now somebody want harvest, cultivation, then there are rules related to the things. We have to make the soil clean. It is free of dirt. it is pluffed and all weeding is done, thorns are removed, stones, that thing is removed, then in that mode these seeds reproot. So that way there is twofold. Now this is what is actually expounded in Bhagavad Gita. But then this bhakti is supposed to bestow those two things, concentration and then inner cleansing. What is inner cleansing? What is inner pollution? Now, now if we come to the bhakti, there are two aspects to it. In prayer, this is technically, one is expressing our obeisances to God. He is instructor, and instruction is a thing. And obedience, through that obedience we express by glorifying in words. Now bhakti is, and there are two actually essential elements, bhakti and behavior. Behavior means our conduct. This conduct is a part. So it is with bhakti one gets the concentration, chitta naichalya, ekagrata. And with behavior, so in behavior what happens, cleanliness means non-cleansed. Now we know what should be the behavior that is given in Bhagavad Gita, and we are trying to correct ourselves, and make an audit. There are 42 attributes expounded by the God, chapter 12, 13th, 13th sloka to 20th. Here 42 attributes are actually Lord has recited and expounded and unfolded and said that if these are held, it is here, he is dearer to me. And then what is contrast to these 42? That is what is defilement. Defilement means black glass. God is dearer means God is Sachidananda Swarupa. In fact, we have a window outside, light is there, but if it is black coated, we would not get it. Those are all the don'ts. And do's are these 42. If these are held, then God's grace, that light or bliss, we are tapping. So these, now it is, now one part is glorifying the God, and second part is compliance of the God's instructions. And glorifying the God, now let us see what is operating on the field. Bhakti means somebody who is at temple. One thing is, these are all not actually, it is falling short of the requirement. Not that these are inadequate. These should not be done. And we have to go to temples, we have to glorify Lord, and Lord's we have to say Krishna and Krishna's instruction. So now he is our own parent. Now we know Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni. Now every god, they have only floated do's and don'ts. Now if you are worshipping Mother, yes, we know, we knew that we take chant Lalita Sahasranamas. Now what is Mother to her children? And it is love, unconditional service, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, everything, all the do's. Then Mother would be pleased when someone is like Mother's qualities. Then it is like that. Shiva, whosoever worshipping, it has to translate into the actions. So now Krishna has now we know that suppose traffic inspector is our own person, our own relative. If you are going without wrong direction, we will be caught. Now that right and wrong, do's and don'ts, what the scriptures have already, those 42 attributes are wonderful. The compliance of that alone will give is the thing, because one has to think all those 42. So when these are done, whenever we talk, think, act, or pursuit of arthakama, fulfillment of our desires and our requirements, and whatsoever throughout in wake state, while deployment of our body, action organs, sense organs, mind, intellect, and as an employee, what not, whichever workplace, they are governed by rules, and these rules, laws, they have to be adhered. When they are adhered, they are in the God's pleasure. And one has to compute exactly these 42, what is his vis-a-vis his. No, we have to compute that error. And that is the bacteria, that is the virus. And that virus, we have to, it is only mind. Mind means we are negating, it is the track. We have to oppose. No, no. That is got it. It should be erased with a thing. And when this process happens, then we are graduating. Now, one thing is the bhakti, one thing is glorifying the God, expressing our obeisances, our faith, our respect, reverence. That is wonderful. How it is done, let us see. Today there is no dearth of it. We visit temples, we do abhisheka, we do homas, we do rituals, we do chantings, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. All these are, we are trying to vocally express our loyalty, obeisances, and every ritual, really, every ritual, rites, whatever is done, going to pilgrimage, all these are, today, this alone is devotion. This alone is, this is you are paying your respects to the Lord, but Lord's, when it is complied alone, constitute to be a devotee. Now, if you see the history, now these rituals are done very much by all the people. Now the thing in the past, in our Purana, rituals, all these are done, and there's fulfillment also happened. But Chitta Shuddhi has not taken place, though despite all things, they never had the peace, contentment, and happiness. Now, for happiness, for iham, also these attributes of the divinity. Now, that's why being devotee is not being doing. Not part one is rituals, all that thing, and part two is being divine. No, and the contrast of the divine is demonic. Now, demons, if no means their functioning is exactly complementary. What all prohibitive, then the inverse of these 42 attributes is a demon. Now a demon, and now part one, part two. Part two, there are divine and demon. Now this were demonic is what? 42 is said, what is inverse of 42 is demonic. Now with part one, our wishes may be fulfilled, we get the chitta ekagrata, because we are caught up in our with preoccupied terribly in our pursuit, in our whatever tracks of the indulgence, that is getting us a discomfort. Perhaps that is due to that this demonic thoughts, and these demonic thoughts, yes, bring us a lot of unsettled, defilement, polluted, disturbance, agitations. Now, say one does some ritual, these rituals are relieving that occupied disposition, and by relieving it, it is giving the peace. No, and in the process, one desires, it is a law. The desire will be fulfilled. That is the divine protocols. That is what is how all the desires of the demons are also fulfilled. Now we will see what is the part two, being divine. This divine is compliance of those 42 attributes. Those 42 attributes will give the trace of the happiness, peace, contentment, because it is when we tap the God energy. God is a light and is bliss, and otherwise this, and it gives cleanse. Now in our inner here this mundane life also, there is a peace, happiness, contentment, and this will give a lead to take up the other higher life, that is wisdom of kshetra, kshetrajna, and that's why this is a conducive vyavasayatmika buddhi, what it is said. One is made the field ready. This 42 attributes, this is what we call sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. It is like, then this will facilitate for higher life, where with that other instruction of the God. Kshetra, then there is a division of the knower known. One is reminded he is knowledge, he is Atma, consciousness, and then there is a trace to the higher life. That is a source bliss we are entering. Now, this is the gateway, this is the starter. Starter has been, those 42 attributes have to be upheld. Then person gets the tranquility here, certain whatever, even though it is transient, fleeting, certain it is this much agony should not be there in the life, and it is, and whatever this will give us lead to the trace to the reality, that is God is the source of wisdom, the source of bliss, and then it will take us to the higher light. This is what is told. That highest life is Sthita Prajna. This is Brahmi Sthiti. Now, despite being under the spell of whatever ignorance, the affiliation to the body mind, which is by default, it is inescapable, the non-compliance of these divine laws makes life more miserable. So, devotion is definitely addresses the thing, but devotion glorifying the Lord alone, or devotion following Lord's instruction. So defense of the instructions is demonic. One who upholds the Lord's instruction is a divine. Means we can say in a divine devata. Now what we have here now, our Puranas project only two categories: divine and devata and rakshasa. Rakshasa is one who is undivine. What is divine? Those adhering to those principles, ethics, morals, values. Now this question surfaced because scriptures say when one is devotee, the inner purity happens, chitta shuddhi, and then there is a concentration. Often this used to haunt. No, inner purity happens provided that what is the definition of the pure? Because everybody today their own belief system, their own tracks of the mental, that is their dharma. Dharma become individualized. Means it is one's version, those divine laws. So one has to be honest. Now even see calibration of the eye. There is a standard, that distance, that letters we have to see. If it is not done, then calibration for any equipment, instrument, it has to be accurate. There it has deteriorated. There is a standard. Now present status, when it is bought, it is accurate. But now over the years, this whichever vehicle or anything, it decays. Now we are computing according to that standard, compute error, and then corrective actions is done like that. Now in the absence of these standard, these 42, one is made to believe whatever one is, that is the standard. Today who admits that he is not correct? And the stamp of devotion is today what is prevailing on the field is rituals or visiting and chantings and whatnot, all sort which everybody knew whatever is happening. But this is what is expressing our obedience to the God. But the Lord, instructor. Now instruction is that if it is that makes that alone gives the further ascension to getting out of the thing in this mortal life, and then the follow-up instruction, which is made of 701 slokas, guides it is the fruit of all the Upanishads that will give to the higher realms of infinity, immortality. So that calibration is a wonderful concept. Now the standard is these 42, So whichever one is able to do, one has to list down. Okay, here all I am deviating. No, it should not be there. The very awareness of computing our error, and then we negate it. It is also feeling we should have it. This reprogramming makes it from a from a from a negative to the positive, and in the positive we tap God energy. So this honest introspection would do it. Otherwise, when complying those instructions only, God has said He is held dearer. Now God is not a person. Somehow he can be pleased. Only with these 42 attributes we can please Him. Our glorification is respected. We worship Mother Earth. We do for Bhumata any sort of rituals, chantings, Bhumata, Stotra, do Homa, but the seeds, cleaning the Bhumi, cleaning the and for cultivation it requires cleaning, ploughing and doing right seeds. So this is the actually profound message from God. This answers the solution for Iha and Para. And then it extends. All these 42 extends our, because it is directly. So it is because now often actually these are very much in a way indirectly are enacted in terms of one's kids, whatever family, 2-3 kids, it's our family. Then there it is absolutely compassion, for forgiveness, tolerance, forbearance. But when it comes to third child outside our family, then it is a totally different. Those there is a totally contrast. Now whereas God, He has, it is entirely His creation. He said in Bhagavad Gita, I am the parent, I am the mother, father for this universe. Then how a parent will be, anybody's parent will be pleased when their kith and siblings are loved. Now God has said when everything is His child baby. Now unless we value or respect love the babies, no parent cannot be. Now parent, we are expecting him to love us by only glorifying through these known channels which we are know. Now parent can be loved, and those extending love, now in a way those 42 are indirectly depicted, they are extended to one's family, confined to the family, one's children. Now outside that family it is different, but that would extend all through, in all throughout 24/7, those 42, and then we are dearer to the God. Actually, this is the message from Bhagavan Krishna's instruction already laid down. This has answered my query. Why they being people devotion, and then that inner chitta shuddhi is why it doesn't, it is not by default, because we have been given viveka. One part is glorifying God through what all bhakti which is operating, visible, which everybody knew. But this is not, this is required. We got instructor, we pay we go to the college, we pay our respect to the professor, our teacher. But his instruction has to be upheld studently, then only he will pass. So then only it happens. So being devotee means one is glorifying the instructor, that God, and God's instruction is complied. Then only God's protocols, because it is not a physical parlance. There is a law minister and law. His law and he are not one and same. Then we can, despite being unlawful, one can make good with the law minister. But in the God's cosmic government, law minister, because the dharma ko dharmi and the law minister law, they are one and same, because he is all pervading, he is our parent, everything goes to him. There are protocols. These protocols are nicely said, that will give the inner cleansing, make life happy here, and also further extending to the and instructions, the message, last thing gives to the eternal immortality. Hariom.